Hello, you're listening to Rollout, a Transformers-inspired actual play, Edge of the Empire podcast. This season is going to be an unofficial sequel to the Bumblebee movie, with some comic book and animated stuff thrown in for fun. I'm Willis, the DM. I use he/him pronouns.
Hi, I'm Carlos, also he, him, and I play Jumpkick, he, him as well.
I'm Sophie Goose. My pronouns are they, them, or he, him, and I play Potshot, whose pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Audrey, she, her, and I'm playing Hightop, she, they.
I'm going to pass the mic back to Audrey. Audrey has an unofficial timeline for us to go off of, just so everyone knows where the story's taking place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so background information for before we start the adventure. Our crew is a group of Cybertronian defectors. Potshot and Jumpkick are Autobot defectors, while Hightop is a Decepticon triple changer, formerly. The crew abandoned Cybertron on a stolen ship and probably had some long and entertaining bonding adventure through the various galaxies before they ended up on Earth. And through mysterious circumstances, their ship went down and they were separated at some point in the later 50s. And Hightop and Jumpkick landed somewhere in northern Mexico or the southwest US and have been spending the past few decades trying to locate the rest of their crew.
Yeah, and then the one additional detail is that there was a fourth member of the crew, a Decepticon scientist named Axon, that was thrown off course when the ship crashed, and he's also lost on Earth. For out-of-game stuff, that's a possible future player character for a fifth member of the podcast that might join at one point, kind of keeping him in the story. So the adventure won't be about hunting Axon down. Axon will show up when he can.
Axon does as Axon pleases.
Axon does as Axon pleases.
We kind of liked Potshot more, so we devoted our first 30 years to finding them. Axon is next.
Gotta get your priorities straight.
Axon was half dead before the ship exploded.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to try to set the scene, and then I'm going to throw it to Hightop and Jumpkick, and then we'll introduce Potshot. If this were a movie, the audience would see a Cybertronian ship heading towards Earth, and something happens on board. This could have been an argument on board. It could have been a mechanical malfunction. We're not too sure. But there are signs of gunfire and an explosion on board. The ship breaks up during re-entry. 4 noticeable large chunks of the ship fly towards Earth. 2 land in northern Mexico. 1 lands closely to the ship in Southern California in a national park. The 4th knocks into the ship and flies off into the sky, getting lost. We aren't sure where it lands. The camera then fades to black, and then the camera fades back into a heavily customized VW bus and a off-road Baja car, pulling up to a small mine outside a dense forest. What happens next?
Alright, Jumpkick, I think this is probably the place. I've detected some energon signatures in this forest, and hopefully this is where we find Potshot or the other one. I'm gonna go look around. If you see anything interesting, call me over. And I'm going to go start picking through the dirt and trying to see if I find any chunks of shrapnel or energon clumps or anything.
I like that they're referring to Axon as
the
other
other.
One, as if his name is a curse upon this world.
Hightop doesn't like Axon that much.
I don't think Axon likes Axon. We'll stick with the roles from before. So let me look at what they were.
So 3 advantages?
Yeah. And total 3 advantages, 2 successes, and 1 threat. Jumpkick's threat is that the scene that y'all see played out before you is a little bit too close to something that would happen on Cybertron during the war. It looks like the aftermath of a battle. The successes and advantages and everything, y'all know that a battle broke out here. Possibly 2, possibly 1 Cybertronians were involved, and then a large number of what, based off the tracks, looks like smaller creatures. Probably the natives to the planet. They were using some sort of weapons that y'all aren't familiar with. The holes left from the blaster fire look a bit different than the Cybertronian weapons would have left. With y'all's, with Hightop's advantages, is there anything else you wanted to know?
Essentially, I'm trying to pick up, with my energon detectors, any signs of something alive or like ship's fuel, because while this is very rough, I am also looking for debris from our ship that may have crewmates in it.
You can tell that there's a faint signal of something towards the mine. You're not sure if the signal's faint because it's far underground or if the signal's faint because someone's in danger. But there's something inside the mine.
Okay. Before we go anymore, should we give like a little physical description of the characters?
Yeah. For sure. Let's start with Hightop. What does Hightop look like after they transform?
Yeah, so when Hightop transforms, they look sort of like your usual van transformer along the lines of a like G1 Ratchet, but about Bumblebee sized. They have a orange and yellow color scheme and just an enormous backpack that's goes well above their head and is about as big as they are. And coming off of their back, they do have two small stumpy wings.
And what does Jumpkick look like after he's had the Cybertronian flashback?
Well, Jumpkick's he's loose. He's a small little off-roader, loosely based on a Suzuki Sidekick, and when he transforms, he's sort of like your regular basic Autobot body. It's like car chest, little wings in the back wheels on his legs. Sort of like a Jazz, but with a blue, red, orange, and yellow color scheme.
Okay.
And with an off-road flavor to him.
And as we see that, Hightop does walk over saying that Jumpkick is in a bit of PTSD daze right now and sort of waves her hand in front of his face. You doing okay?
Yeah, it's fine. We should probably look around and see what we could find.
Oh.
Also, question on the advantages and whatever. Is there a way to tell if any of the weapons that you said were used that are not Cybertronian, is there a way we can tell if they're Cybertronian derivative? Like, we know they're not really... Like, we know what humans are, right?
No. Do y'all know what humans are?
We've been here for like 30 years.
Yeah, like,
okay.
Because originally we didn't, but that was when we just got there.
Yeah, no, y'all have been here for 30 years, so you would definitely know what humans are. Do you know what human weapons are? Have you been shot at?
I've probably been shot at.
Probably been shot at. So
that's my question there too.
Yeah, so you can tell there is human gunfire mixed in with Cybertronian gunfire. Like the Cybertronian gunfire is bigger marks, more like scorch mark based, and the human gunfire is, you know how a gun works. There is
so it's like
piece of hot metal thrown out quickly, and there's a hole with that hot metal in it.
Okay, so it's like that. Like we can tell the difference between energy blasts. I'm guessing Cybertrons are going to be energy blast and humans are going to be shell-based, like projectiles or something.
Yeah, and you can tell that's what happened here. There was a squad of humans that were shooting at one, possibly two Cybertronians.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess getting back to it. Oh, actually I have been looking around a bit. I'm picking up energon signatures in that cave over there. And seems like a lot of them annoying human weapons were fired off. I sort of gesture at a bullet hole in my backpack. Probably something similar to these. So I don't know, I guess I'd start walking towards the cave with Jumpkick.
Yeah, do y'all want to both go towards the mine?
Yeah, I hurriedly go. Sure, let's go. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
Transform and make the way to the mine.
All right.
I want to be in
Are you
car
driving
mode
through the mine?
I'm gonna be in car mode though.
Right in.
I wanna like escape the situation by transforming and rolling out towards the mine.
Just Suzuki just drives quickly towards a mine.
It's like, I'm out, just vroom.
His PTSD response is transform and roll out. The voice of Peter Cullen yells in his head.
I just like the imagery of a car driving like through a mine.
Yeah, Hightop starts creeping forward, and then just a Suzuki Samurai just buzzes past her, and it's like, oh, okay, we're doing that. I'll also go into my alt mode and follow behind them. Oh, I just turn on my big pile of fog lights that are all over the front of it.
It's fantastic. Okay, so the camera cuts and we see another bot hanging out in what looks like a crashed spaceship. Potshot, do you want to tell us what you're doing in the ship and what Potshot looks like?
So Potshot is a sort of short, stocky bot based off of a, well, I guess they're still in Cybertronian mode, isn't she?
That'd be up to you.
Yeah, so still in Cybertronian mode. So probably something similar to the cars that we would see in like Fall of Cybertron, that kind of genre for Bumblebee or Cliffjumper. Basically, the main color scheme is black with silver and bright orange highlights. She has a very kind of face-plated, visored head. Not a lot of very expressiveness. Very short and stocky. Has a little bit of a backpack kibble, similar to maybe Brawn. And that is filled, like, you can basically see like a sniper rifle stock kind of sitting out the top of it, and there's a couple of weapons here and there. And she's kind of just sitting in the middle of this wreckage, very, very tightly holding on to a weapon, surrounded by many interesting things, mostly scraps of machinery that basically every lick of energon has been kind of taken out of, discarded things, maybe a couple of different, food wrappers and weird earthen stuff. And then, to be perfectly honest with you, a couple of inanimate objects that may or may not have had some small faces scribbled onto them hastily with oil.
Because you've been in a hole for like 30 years.
30 years. On an alien planet, surrounded by a species that has weapons. Potshot's not having a good time. Well, we're going to leave it at that.
Can we call them Wilson-trons? Or
Sure.
Or
Willy
Wilsicons?
Wilsicons? I like Wilsicons.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me the same perception check that they did. One purple, so an easy perception check. So one purple, and then however many greens or yellows you have for perception.
Perception is based on which stat again?
Let's
Perception.
see.
Oh, wait.
Perception is
That'd
based
be
on
intellect?
cunning.
Okay, so that would be 3. Alright, let me roll. Got 3 successes, 1 advantage, and 1 threat.
Is that the end result? 3 advantages.
Oh, so end result, that's right. You have to cancel
Yeah.
them out. It's 3 successes.
Just 3 successes?
Yeah.
Okay. You hear what sounds like 2, not large vehicles, but too large to be in a mine. Vehicles heading down the mine towards the ship. Maybe not directly towards the ship, like they know where it's at, but headed towards your way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's no threats. So is there anything you would like, the Potshot would like to know about the vehicles based on just like perception?
She's probably just gonna walk over to a part of the cave wall and just very ineffectually press her head against it as if trying to hear something better and try to figure out if it's dangerous. The answer is probably going to be yes, just based on her kind of mental state. So feel free to embellish as you may.
So a question for Hightop and Jumpkick. Would y'all be talking while you're flying down the mine?
I mean, I feel like Hightop doesn't shut up very much, so probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Potshot, as you put your ear against the wall to see if it's danger or not, you, I think at first might be a little scared, but then you hear 2 familiar voices that you haven't heard in roughly 30 years.
So yeah, anyway, then the dirt farmer started shooting at me with those stupid, I don't know, some kind of primitive slug slinger. It was ridiculous.
Wait, does Hightop think humans farm dirt?
I don't know, it's just that squishy garbage, but...
I like, they can't see the food and they just see the dirt, so they just assume.
It's just like, yeah, the humans just kind of,
love
they just
dirt.
mix...
they go out in the field, they get the dirt.
Humans love that shit. They just love dirt.
Well, I can see why. It's really fun to play in.
They put their bodies in it, they eat it,
Yeah, I can't wait to put the filter of that audio track coming from deep within a cave. But yeah, anyway, then they started shooting at me.
So yeah, Potshot, what do you want to do? You hear 2 familiar voices talking about dirt farmers.
Potshot's probably gonna freak out a little bit. She's not one to vocalize, especially not after all this time. But probably is just gonna start running towards the source of the sound and trying her best to figure out which direction it was again. That all the different shafts lead towards that one.
Yeah, because they would be heading down the main shaft. So in my mind, the ship, there was this already formed mine here 30 years ago. The ship crashed into it and collapsed a bunch of the tunnels. And I think some of the side tunnels going off the main tunnel just happened to be where the ship landed. So there's some of these small tunnels that were collapsed when the ship landed, but definitely were movable for a small Cybertronian to reconnect. So I think with minimal effort, Potshot would be able to, form one of these small paths coming out from one of the doors of the ship.
Oh, yeah. She's just gonna start freaking clawing at that stuff. It is just gonna be rocks flying left and right, probably hits herself in the face with at least one of them. Just keeps going and going.
So how do y'all want them to run into each other? Do you want...
I kind of like the idea of...
I want
to literally run into each other.
That's what I was thinking.
I had the idea of, Potshot's digging at the wall, and, she comes through and she, bursts through just in time for Jumpkick to, completely just ram into her. Just... completely just knock her into the air, bounces off of the ceiling, and face plants on the ground.
Yeah, she's digging at a slight upward angle, so she comes out, and the Suzuki immediately, like a mole coming out of the ground.
Yeah. As Jumpkick slams on his brakes, I probably rear end.
Nice.
There's a 2-car, 1-robot pileup.
So are we gonna take damage for that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Actually,
are we gonna have cartoon physics where certain shenanigans doesn't give us damage? It's just goofballness.
I mean, that is what a Transformers movie is.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, probably.
Jumpkick, give me a 2 purple piloting check, planetary piloting. So that'd be 3 greens, 2 purples for you, just to see how badly you run into Potshot.
Okay. First arc of this series is gonna be Jumpkick freaking annihilating Potshot, and then
I only made it 2
repair
purple.
her.
It can't get too bad if he has 3 in the skill. I'm also not gonna have anyone die from a joke, so that's also
1 success, 2 advantages, and 1 threat. Oh, I like this one better. There's no deciphering.
Okay, so how Edge of the Empire works is the DM tells you the bad things, and then you decide the good things.
Oh, nice.
The threat is pretty obvious. You are going to run into Potshot. What are the good things out of that scenario?
It's inevitable, right? I'm going to run into...
Yeah, you're going to run into... I mean, especially with the threat. Yeah, you're going to run into Potshot.
I tried to... I guess it might be midair at this point. I'm not exactly sure the geography here. But I think the advantage is that we don't actually get damage and we just hit each other and it's not a big deal. There's really not much advantage.
The advantage is that it's some Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
bullshit.
it's
Yeah.
goofball.
like swerves sideways, knocks Potshot off of her feet, and she just tumbles back like it's a Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
That works for me. So what do y'all 3 do? Y'all have been separated from one of your crewmates, friends, for 30 years, and you found them buried in the ground.
I just yell. I go, whoa! It's Potshot, and I run over and try to after Potshot's all been ran over on the floor, try to pick him up for a hug.
I found you.
I found you. So Potshot's probably not gonna reciprocate the hug, but she's just gonna stand there super dumbfounded for a second, just very quietly trying to process this, because let's be honest. She's been trapped underground, picking away at energon deposits out of a ship and just kind of getting stuff together, and has been drawing faces on inanimate objects. Not entirely sure yet this is real, but
Well, it's about to
definitely
be.
just
Because Hightop just screams, Potshot! Or what? Or Potshot!
Mhm.
I like the first take of that.
Oh god, I maxed out my audio.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Potshot! And I'm going to, still in alt mode, use Punch It. And just her rocket boosters just light up, and she flies towards y'all and just goes
Group
into
hug.
robot mode and gives you the Mach 1 tackle hug.
So now Potshot is at the bottom of a gigantic group hug.
Hightop's feet jets are smoldering as we're just in a big pile.
She's just gonna, with her stubby little arms, because she's probably the shortest of the group, just kind of very slowly try to reach around and just like gently rest her hands around them as best she can, and just very quietly go, "You're alive."
Do we have to?
Yeah,
Do
surprisingly.
we have to do any fighting or anything in this adventure? Because so far we're doing pretty good, just being happy.
Just accidentally beating the crap out of each other.
There will be fighting and violence at one point.
I know.
Gosh.
Yeah, I think Hightop just gives an uncomfortably long hug, even probably after Jumpkick lets go. Like, oh, I was worried you were dead. We haven't heard from anyone. We've picked up a few signs of some dead Cybertronians here and there, and I was worried that was you.
Dead Cybertronian?
Yeah, something blew up
have
outside.
You guys seen,
I hold up.
have you guys seen Axon?
No, we haven't seen Axon yet. We've been trying to track down your Energon signature for, like, this planet went around its sun about 30 times or so. No signs of Axon. But no, what have you been doing? You look like hell, but I'm so glad you're alive.
It's just gonna be like a cut to like Potshot, just kind of like the glow of her optics behind her visor, just kind of look off to the side, and it's just a very quick montage of rocking back and forth inside of the ship wreckage, going outside, seeing humans, hiding out for 2 years straight, trying to go back outside again, deciding that was a bad idea, gently doodling on one piece of machinery, and then immediately cutting to everything else in the room having a face on it. She's just gonna quietly look back to Hightop and just be like, surviving?
Dude, have you been in this hole the whole time?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
were you trapped? Could you leave? I don't mean that in any sort of judgmental way. I'm
Yeah,
just
don't get me
curious.
wrong. It's a totally cool hole.
She's gonna sit there quietly for a second and just be like, yes. Just like, Potshot is not the best at subtlety or expressing herself.
Real quick, could everyone give me a 2 purple intelligence check? If you have core worlds, you can use that skill. It's going to be a general history check, I think, based off what's happened since you've landed and like what you've picked up over time.
What dice are we, what was
It'll be 2 purple and then whatever your core worlds will be. So 2 green for Jumpkick. And Potshot will be getting different information because she's been somewhere else.
I got 2
So
successes, and what's the one that's like a weird hexagon?
Weird hexagon.
I think that's a threat.
A threat?
So 2 successes and a threat.
Mm-hmm.
All I got was a threat.
Just a threat. Okay.
So I got
Just a threat.
So I got 1 success, 1 advantage, 2 failures, and a threat.
Was that your end result?
Oh, never mind. The end result is 1 failure.
Okay.
I learned nothing
So
for 30 years.
That's not true. You guys learned that humans
Oh
farm
yeah,
dirt.
dirt's great. It's a lot of fun. I can see why they farm it.
So I'll start with Potshot. Potshot, what was your end results?
1 threat.
Potshot, you know scary things and bad things. You know that there was a fight outside the mine at one point, You think based off just what your sensors let off that you were noticed by one Autobot at one point and you had a Decepticon signal. The Decepticon signal disappeared at one point and then slowly after so did the Autobot. You assume the worst because after that the gunfire stopped.
Yeah. I think she would assume that maybe Axon was nearby and then kind of got nixed in that fight. And definitely did not want to encounter that Autobot.
So you can tell me, do you think Cybertronians can tell who each other are just based off like energon readings or no?
I don't think, so.
Okay, yeah, so you know
No.
an Autobot was there.
Mm.
And a Decepticon.
Yeah, they probably have like
Or at least Potshot
transponders
doesn't.
that are basically set to Autobot or Decepticon, just like shoot
Right.
this one, don't shoot
friendly
this one.
friendly
Yeah.
/ enemy beacons as far as they go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I think Carlos got more bad stuff, so I'll
I
start
got
with
a
Carlos.
failure.
What was your end
I
result?
got a failure. Just one failure. Everything
failure.
turned to one failure.
One failure.
Are we doing planetary information?
Yeah, just what you've learned since you've landed.
If you would be okay with it, I did have something I thought of for this. Could I do the failure?
Yeah, what's up?
So I think with Hightop's successes and threat and Jumpkick's failure, I feel like for the past 30 years we've probably picked up on a particular amount of like what we can catch from the road and sneaking around and whatnot, but I feel like a lot of our information about this planet comes from us basically stealing VHS tapes and not being able to separate fact and fiction. So our understanding of how Earth works is entirely based on nothing. And, like, I don't know, Hightop genuinely believes that there are kaiju in Japan and that America, or this country, has been visited by aliens many times.
Yeah,
And
I think that's the failure for sure. Like, they think this is real.
Imagines Earth is much more terrifying than it really is in all the wrong ways.
What would this species that farms dirt have any right making up stories and putting them in a video communication? Of course this is just straight up logs.
Yeah, look at them. They
Yeah.
don't know what media is in fiction. They're idiots. They dig dirt all day.
Check out this really big life form with atomic capabilities that was destroying this one place called Japan. Absolutely nuts, right?
Yeah, so I start
Got some
feeling...
crazy life out here.
You
know, organics are always so weird.
Yeah, I start filling in Potshot on all of my worldly information. It's like, yeah, I believe this planet's been visited by extraterrestrials. They seem to have a lot of wars. Very big warlike species. There are these things in the water called sharks, I believe. Maybe jaws. I don't entirely know the name, but they seem to be the sort of natural enemy of the humans. And
humans' natural enemy, sharks.
Potshot's just standing there nodding very sagely like, yes, this all makes sense.
I do have to say we're very lucky we didn't land in a place called Japan. Apparently the life there is much, much larger and can't really be harmed by any sort of traditional weapons. So, I mean, good thing we're here. It seems like the most things they have here are, I don't know, hamburger advertisements or whatever. So
Yeah.
What's a hamburger?
I don't know. It's something they pull out of the dirt.
I think Jumpkick's failure is that he believes this. He thinks this is true. He's never questioned it once.
Hightop also believes it fully.
Potshot has no reason to not believe her crewmates.
Yeah, so I just recapped my entire sort of traveler's guide to Earth.
And so for your successes, what were your successes?
I think I do have a decent understanding of humans and sort of a basic gist of their culture. Like, there are these roads through trial and error and many police chases. I probably sort of felt my way through figuring out road laws to the point of knowing how to sneak around. So yeah, there's these things called humans. They're the dominant species. I don't know, they seem to live together in a big colony-like society that's divided up into many sort of regional zones of rule, and blah, blah, blah. I just sort of go on sort of giving a decently accurate sort of description of humans and what they do and how to interact or avoid interacting with them.
Did you get any advantages when you rolled?
No, just successes.
Just successes. Okay, I'll give you one more like piece of information that I think you might have picked up. It's not Earthling information. You have picked up a large amount of like Decepticon signals like from this area in general. Sometimes the signal will peak like really strong, like way high amounts of energon, and then it dies down immediately. You've been getting peaks like those like all over the place in this area. That's kind of what led you over here. Potshot signal wasn't necessarily one of those because you found it and it just stayed a weak signal because of underground. But there's been this really high peaks and then like nothing of just energon in this area.
Oh, yeah. Also, probably less good news for y'all of the Autobot persuasion, but this planet does seem to be crawling with Decepticons. We've picked up...
Potshot just kind of instinctively moves her arm down a little bit to kind of cover up her faction badge.
I do set down my backpack and start rummaging through it while everyone's talking for a bit, and eventually pull out just sort of this black sort of rub sign cover.
I love that. Rub signs are just to hide your faction beds.
Yeah, I mean, you can have this if you want.
I'm pretty sure that's from Animated. They have a couple of bots there that have a hidden faction symbol.
Yeah, so I just pull out this big sort of vinyl sticker sort of thing and hand it over. It's like, you may want to do this after you get your alt mode. The vehicles here are a bit more primitive, albeit
the
stylish,
vehicles here are the best.
But
I really like the vehicles here.
Oh yeah, they slap. It's great.
And they're designed specifically.
I go into my
designed
alt mode.
specifically to be on this dirt, which they farm, and they have an overabundance of.
Which they farm.
They might be exporting it.
So like
Yeah, no, the alt modes are great. They have all these pieces you can add to them. Hightop goes into her alt mode. It's like a flatbed Volkswagen truck that just has a big box that's made out of her backpack. And just sort of an arm folds out from underneath it. It's like, she points at her fog lights like, yeah, I've been pulling these off of other cars and attaching them to myself. They're really easy to wire up. You can just put paint on them and they'll be any color. It's wild. Honestly, they're pretty cool. They're just very loud and inefficient.
Can I have? I want to have a small section of shenanigans now, if I am permitted by the DM, by showing off.
Yeah, what's up?
I proceed to show off the hook that I got for the wench that I put on the front of my chest.
Okay.
Check this out. I pull it out. I swing it. Try to hook it onto a rock or something, and then recoil it so it just pulls me over to the rock, and I just kind of slam into it. And like,
and the rock immediately dislodges from the wall.
Yeah, give me a I think that'd be athletics. Give me a 3 purple athletics. So whatever you have for athletics, and plus 3 purple.
Let me see, where's mine? Okay.
For you, it's 1 yellow, 2 green. Yep. That's just because I have Jumpkick's character sheet pulled up, so I know what the skills are.
Boom. Okay, so I got... Oh, man. I got 2 failures. So I definitely get hit by that rock.
Yeah, you don't pull yourself towards the rock. You
towards
pull the
me.
rock towards you.
Just like dunks into you and just like... Oh.
But I still think it's awesome somehow.
Potshot's just standing there very quietly holding this vinyl sticker in her hands, watching these shenanigans happen.
Yeah, no, definitely. The car parts the Earth vehicle parts are great. Hightop in robot mode just has like a big mass of fog lights around her neck and just turns them on directly in Potshot's face.
Immediately stumbles back and bonks against the wall. It's like, can you not turn those on?
I think that'd be a good place for like a scene transition as y'all are like showing off the fun stuff you found like on Earth. I think it fades back and y'all are hanging out on the ship. I think still talking. I think it's definitely night now. There's less light coming in from the tunnel y'all came into.
Mm-hmm.
It can be up to y'all. Do y'all want there be like a couple days have passed, a couple weeks have passed of y'all just like hanging out and getting to know each other again? What do y'all feel like?
I'm fine with any amount of time, but I do want to know everyone's reaction to walking into the ruins of the ship and seeing that Potshot has dismantled literally everything, and that everything has faces drawn on it.
I love what you've done with the place.
I think,
Thank
Looks
you.
homey.
I mean, very,
I tried.
very good of you to do what you can to maintain, I think after a second, though, she does stare at the floor and be like, the conversation pit, it survived! And I'm going to go jump in the in-floor couch we have.
I forgot I said y'all could have a conversation pit.
Hightop just...
Every cushion has been doodled with a different face on it, and like one of them clearly has been drawn to like try and have like the same head shape as like high jump or Jumpkick or Hightop. There's like just like a spider doodled on one of them. Like you can imagine that Potshot's just kind of just been sitting in like the ruins of the conversation pit for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, aside from one sort of butt-shaped dent that seems to be in this one corner from a lot of sitting, the conversation pit seemed to survive the crash fine. Oh, this one looks like me.
Potshot just very quietly like steps aside to get out of her line of vision. Just like...
So, how long do you think it takes y'all to get used to Potshot's mini Wilsons they have around the or the she has
Absolutely
around the ship?
no time at all for Jumpkick.
No
It's
time
just
at
like,
all.
oh, cool.
I get it. I understand.
Jumpkick's...
Yeah.
He just starts holding them around and like making like little scenes with them.
Yeah, I think Hightop is a little off-put by it, but, he gets it. I do think it might take us just like a few hours to sort of get over the excitement and sort of information dump on each other until we're sort of caught up.
Potshot's trying to be a good host and get some energon out for everybody, but all she does is just yank some wiring out of the wall and starts twisting it to get a couple of drops out into like a little glass.
I'm good. It looks like you need that.
Immediately smears it on her faceplate.
Does it soak in?
We're gonna leave that up to the interpretation of the audience.
It hasn't yet, but here's hope. Okay, so I think
what
a couple
have
days.
Hightop and Jumpkick been surviving on for 30 years?
They mentioned drinking gasoline a lot in the movies, so I imagine gasoline.
Wait.
And, like,
Hold on.
diesel.
I do not remember any of the movies mentioning that they drink gasoline.
Do they not? Some Transformers media.
They mention it in the comics.
Okay.
It's a thing that sometimes they'll
Not as
drink. It's
good.
kind of like, if I remember correctly, it's kind of considered the equivalent of moonshine. Like, it's really low quality, but you'll take it if you can get it, and some people like the taste.
Yeah, y'all
I
have
mean,
been surviving on moonshine for...
That would explain why we're so stupid.
That explains a
That
lot.
explains so much.
We're just brain dead.
Definitely no
Yeah.
pure energon here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I go through my backpack and pull out a couple of strange little metallic barnacles. Like, yeah, there were a few of these, I think they're space barnacles that we found stuck to the ship, so when we're feeling a little rough, I mean, it's kind of a bit barbaric, but you can eat them. But mostly we've just been inebriated for 30 years trying to function.
Moonshining it across America.
I like the idea.
Potshot is not going to be one to be judging right now. She's just been holed up in a ship, making imaginary friends.
I really like the idea of. I like the idea of Jumpkick just chugging on gasoline, like a little gas tank of gasoline, like it's fucking Baja Blast. Just.
Well, that's what diesel is.
Hightop makes a
Gasoline's-
cocktail of space barnacles and gasoline.
Should be what, like clams and moonshine?
Yeah, gasoline is moonshine and diesel is Baja
Diesel
Blast.
is Baja Blast.
So I think a couple days pass, maybe a couple weeks pass of y'all like getting to know each other again and y'all like really settling into the ship. And then let me get to my notes page. And then one night y'all are hanging out in the conversation pit.
Conversation shit.
Can I get a 1 purple perception check from anyone who wants to do it? It doesn't matter. It can be everyone. It can be one person.
Oh, go ahead.
I have pretty good perception.
Okay.
What color dice are for the ones we're getting from the cunning stat?
For cunning?
Yeah, because it's a perception check, right?
Yeah, perception would be cunning.
So it's 1 green for each of those points?
Yeah, 1 green for each of those points. And if you're trained in it, you get a yellow, I believe.
Okay.
I got a triumph, a success, and a failure? Or a threat. A triumph, a success, and a threat.
I can tell you that you think that the threat is that you think you're taking whatever... You're hearing a sound crawl through the cave. You're not sure what it is. I'll tell you that the threat is you assume it to be hostile. What do you want your successes to be and your triumph to be?
I'll give everyone warning, be like, everyone get down. There's something coming this way. And I'm going to do what has worked on Earth for a lot of shenanigans, and I'm going to go into my alt mode in the conversation pit and just sort of turn all my lights off.
I think your triumph, because triumphs are kind of like crits, you know it's human. I'll give you that for your triumph.
Oh, then absolutely. That's always worked on humans. So, everyone, get in your alt mode.
So, Potshot got 4 successes.
4 successes.
So, just knowing her and her kind of experience she's had with humans, which is mostly going outside, seeing military personnel with weapons, and she's in a very bad mental state. She doesn't like humans. Doesn't trust them.
With 4 successes, I can tell you that it doesn't sound like someone like stomping around like someone from the military or like someone scary would be. It sounds kind of like, I think the equivalent for Cybertronians would be almost like if some sort of rodent was like squirming through like a ship or a base. Like it's that small, like comparatively. Gotcha. Like it's a human, but it's a rather small human, like scurrying through the cave.
It's like Potshot's probably just gonna make like a little disgusted noise and then maybe go to like close the door. Just be like, ew.
Potshot, get in your alt mode. Come on, they're coming.
Right.
What about Jumpkick?
I don't know.
I didn't know we were all rolling for it.
You don't have to. You don't want to. You can just base your reaction off the others.
No, I can. I'll do a thing.
Yeah.
What's because it's always much funnier because I fail more often. What were the rolls? I'm sorry. It was cunning.
Yeah.
I have this.
And what do they say?
I have deception.
It's 1 purple.
I don't have cunning.
1. All right.
Deception has cun on it. Is that what it is?
It would be. It'd be your perception skill, which would be.
Oh, there it is. Perception.
Yeah, 2. So 1 purple, 2 green.
And I get 2 advantages and 1 failure, like classic failure.
I'll say the failure is the same thing. You find it hostile. Advantages were, I would say the same thing that Potshot got. You know it's small. You know it's not large, but you don't know what that means. That the idea of that scares you. Something small and humans coming towards you.
Okay, can I make the failure myself?
Yeah, what do you want your failure to be?
Since I was hit by a rock earlier, I want a piece of rock get in the way of my transforming to hide, at least momentarily. So I'm like kind of halfway through the transformation and just making a lot of noise.
It's like,
so you're making a lot of noise trying to transform?
Like it's doing like the transformation noise and then it's getting stuck and it's
reverse
and
back and it's like, what
again.
the? Just going
like
back and forth.
It's like he's going.
It's just like, yeah, man.
I think if you're making a bunch of noise, you hear. Okay, here goes my impression of a child. Like, what is that sound? And then you hear some rocks and everything getting moved out of the way from like an exterior, what would normally be an exterior doorway, but it's been covered up with rubble and everything. You hear a small like, what is that coming from that doorway? And there's rocks falling down. Something pretty close to coming through the wall.
I think kind of panicking with somebody about to come in and Jumpkick not being able to transform. I think I'm just going to sort of do the Bumblebee thing and just undo an arm and just try to punch Jumpkick in the back to sort of Heimlich around.
Meanwhile, Potshot is just gonna kind of squish herself against a wall that's like right next to the door. So like if you walk in immediately, you won't see her, which is just standing there, probably reaching for some sort of her myriad of weapons.
Yeah, just a big hearty punch on the back and then pull my arm back in.
Okay, Hightop, give me a 1 purple medicine check.
Medicine. A slap in the back.
It's a Heimlich.
Medicine. Sorry, I need to go over. 1 purple medicine.
Yeah.
3 successes.
3 successes, you do it. Do you?
Yeah, I'll say with my successes, I don't want to interrupt Carlos's roleplay, but I am able to pull back my arm in time.
All right, so.
But yeah. I do knock over Jumpkick and then just pull my arm back in.
All right, so rock flies off. I'm assuming piece of rock flies off.
Yeah, but I do just punch you over, basically.
Yeah, do you just fly into your
Yeah,
arm from there, like the animation continues?
just tumble into
I think it's like the last...
Okay, I think with the timing of the Heimlich and the transformation continuing, a bunch of rocks fall out through that entrance, and you see a small earthling child. And I think he catches the anime, like he sees the transformation. And he's just, oh my god, like just standing there, half hanging out of a hole in the wall,
looking
like mind blown
at all this wreckage where everything's got faces doodled on
he has
it.
He has a headlamp on that's like falling off his head because it was falling off. He was gonna fix it, but then he saw a man turn into a car.
A giant man.
A giant man turned
and
into
directly to the left of him
car.
in the darkness is Potshot squished against the wall. Like,
oh yeah, Potshot, give me a stealth check. I'm gonna say
what base stat does that use?
Stealth, agility.
Okay, let me see. Do I have a stealth? I don't have a stealth skill. Let me see.
So make it 3 purple.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's some chaos going on, add 1 of the blue dice. So it's going to be harder, but you have a little bit of a bonus
so
because there's
it's
some shenanigans
3 purple
happening.
dice, my agility stat for green, and then a blue.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me... It's going to be 1 advantage and 1 failure.
1 advantage, 1 failure.
Weird. That gasoline really is doing some damage on us, huh? Like...
you tell me your advantage, and I'll then think of a failure. What's your advantage? I mean, you got to do the thing you wanted to.
Let's see. What is she aiming to do here? Well, obviously stay out of his sight, but I have a feeling that's not going to pan out.
No, you succeeded on the stealth, so you get to do it. Just a bad thing also happens.
Let me think. So she stays hidden. Let me see. What would be a good failure in that case? Probably just like she's stuck in a really uncomfortable position, like she's on her tiptoes, pushed back against something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're hidden, but if you move, you will get caught.
Yeah.
Like you're hidden.
She squished herself back
moment.
only to get like her foot stuck like halfway up on top of a piece of rubble. So like if she moves even slightly, she's not only gonna like lose it out from underneath her and it's gonna make a noise, but like she'll trip backwards.
Yeah.
Like...
Potshot basically 50-50'd it.
She's still hidden, but like if anything happens, she's gonna fall on her face and be hurt.
She is hidden, but if anything happens, she will not be hidden.
Okay.
Very precarious situation.
Hightop remains perfectly still and silent, and is just a big van parked in a conversation pit.
What about
covered
Jumpkick?
in faces in the middle of a mine?
I don't know. I'm just in car mode right now, right?
Yeah, but he caught you.
Wait, what does what did the kid do?
What did the kid do?
After they were like, whoa.
I think he pulls himself out of the fully out of the wall. He's in like spelunking gear, but like very makeshift, like stuff he found around, things a kid would think would be useful for spelunking. So like headlamp, 3 cantinas for some reason.
Alright, so
a bunch of pockets and backpacks.
A bunch
and
of
he's
rope,
just
but not rope that's useful for spelunking.
Yeah, like a bunch of bad rope.
Bad rope.
Some of it might be shoelaces.
Okay, so just
He's like, and I think he's like, I saw that.
okay. So continuing to try to interact. It's still in car mode. I'll try to argue and go. No, you didn't.
He looks at you with the angst that a 16-year-old would possess. He just like, yes, I did. I saw you were.
My success was I pulled the arm in time.
Now you're a car.
Okay.
And that one had an arm out of it. What? He's like, oh, I know. I think right at the end, like he like saw something move.
Right. There's suspicion. Okay, so what I want to do is I transform into robot and say, no, you didn't. More authoritative. More like trying to convince him.
Authority.
Yeah, with some vague authority. No, you didn't.
Oh my god! It's just like the MTMTE magazine said.
What?
It's like I knew it. That yellow guy from 3 months ago. I knew he was real. They said he's like Bigfoot. I said he's not like Bigfoot. This one's real. And he's like holding up like a shitty like tabloid magazine with like pictures of like it looks like Bigfoot, but it's yellow and really tall, and it's clearly Bumblebee.
It's the classic pose. I forgot the name.
The like walking away with the.
I think
it's like the exact Bigfoot pose, but yellow.
I think I'm going to still remain perfectly still and kind of panic.
Okay.
Potshot's still trying very hard not to trip on the rock that's underneath her ankle and get caught.
Okay.
Just like sitting there like,
think...
there's a human, you.
Like there's a cockroach on the ground, you're like, oh god.
Like it's not one of the ones that's, possibly gonna shoot her, but it's like, oh no.
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance. At least in her mind.
Potshot, give me a 2 purple perception check. Because you're hiding like behind him, right?
Yeah, like behind him and to the left, like pressed against the wall.
Okay.
Let me see. Perception is...
Yeah.
Cunning plus the purple. How many purples was it?
2.
2 successes.
2 successes?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you what you see or what you think you see. In his backpack and like the back, it's like one of those stretchy elastic pockets with the mesh.
Mm-hmm.
You see like a geode almost, like it's earth rock on the outside, but it's cracked open and there's purple and glowing on the inside. I don't know if you know exactly what this specific type is, but that's Energon. You don't know why it's like weird and craggly on the back, but he has some formation of Energon in his back pocket of his backpack.
Oh boy.
I don't think the other 2 can see it just because it's in the back.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I feel like she's gonna probably like
the purest Energon you have seen.
Oh yeah, she's definitely gonna lean over and be like, "What the heck is that?" It's like if you want to have it be that she gets caught.
Yeah, I think with the 1 success, 1 failure, like if you move to interact with it, you're gonna get caught.
It's gonna be like she's leaning over.
He just looks
to get, like,
back and there's a giant robot looming over him.
I think that might do.
Clearly a bit unhinged.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, just like the one that doesn't even have any eyes or anything, just has the visor and the faceplate, like black armor pressed against the wall, like mere feet away from him. Like,
yeah, I think he hears like a, and he quickly turns around and he's like, "Oh my god!" and then like jumps back a few feet.
To which immediately Potshot is going to jump too, because you human and probably send that rock that was underneath her ankle just like scattering off to the side, bounces off a bunch of stuff. And, like, she probably falls back a little bit, honestly.
And then I think that exposes it to Hightop. I think as he gets scared and turned around, this exposes the, like, Energon to Hightop and Jumpkick, too. Like, y'all clearly see it now that he's not facing the back wall. So this small human child has Energon. And it looks pretty pure from just looking at it.
Whoa, Energon. Primo stuff. Let me see that. I ask him to see it. What do you got there, little dude?
What? I don't know what it. I mean, I know what it's mine. I found it. I was actually looking for more of it. I don't know what it's called. I've just been calling it a geode because that's what it looks like. I see them at the science museum. My dad has some, not like this though. It glows and here, I'll just show you. And he like takes off his headlamp that's like flickering off and on, and he holds up the geode, the Energon geode to it, and it like recharges the battery all the way, and it's now like a working headlamp instead of this like barely flickering functioning one. He's like, it does this pretty much to everything I poke it with. It just, if it's broken or low on battery, it seemingly fixes it temporarily.
I love that this kid is just
I was going to show my
casually
dad,
talking
but I can't find another one.
I think that's the point.
I didn't want him to take my only one, so I've been looking for another one.
I feel like Hightop's a bit frozen through indecision. Is there like a door this kid came through that can be closed?
Not closed. When the ship was functioning, this would have been a doorway, but it's just rubble of rocks that he's spelunked through and pushed out of the way now. So I don't think there's a functioning door. If it would, it'd still be jammed up.
Gonna very quietly drive over and get in the way of it.
Okay, so I know what I'm gonna do.
All right, so
You want to go?
oh, so we're showing ourselves to this one. All right, fine.
Potshot's in the back, like not intentionally.
I'm going to do the big 15-second long Transformers 1 Optimus Prime transformation.
Oh,
Get, like
hold
the
on.
big cinematic circle shot where like it's got like the
very-
orchestral music in the background.
Yeah, just the very arduously slow, sort of intimidating, intentionally being dramatic.
You transform into like on one knee, head down, and then you stand up.
Yeah.
I make my battle visor come down and then I push it back up again.
You can see
Were you
it was
followed?
up, and then it comes down, and then it comes up.
Yeah, her helmet does just kind of look like a cosmonaut helmet with just like a reflective pink visor in front of it, and she just pushes it back up. Were you followed? Actually, just let me see that. I'm gonna take the magazine.
I think he would try to like resist, but you are a giant robot, and so he's like, "No, that's mine." And
It's
but you
mine now.
easily get out of his hands.
With Hightop's sort of ego, I think the Energon is important, but if this kid tries to run away with it, he's not going to get far. But I am curious to look through this magazine to see if there's any pictures of me.
Can you read English? The internet's
I'm
not a
just
thing
looking
yet.
at pictures.
All right, just pictures. Okay. There's not pictures of you.
Yeah, I'm
Give me a lore check. 3 purple, and then you can get 1 advantage because of people you may or may not know in your backstory. So 3 purple, 1 blue, and then whatever your lore is.
that is a success and an advantage.
A success and an advantage. Okay, so I'll tell you what you see, and then you tell me what you want those successes and advantages to be. You don't see yourself in here. You see a little yellow bot that I don't think you know who that is. We as the audience know that's Bumblebee. What you do know and what you do see is you see pictures of a blown up Blitzwing. You see a couple pictures of Shatter and Dropkick, and then you see pictures of blown up Shatter and blown up Dropkick.
Oh, I think as she scrolls past Bumblebee, it's like, I don't know this loser. Blitzwing. Oh. Huh. I did never like him, but this feels a bit undignified. And I think getting to Shatter, she's a little bit more like, oh. Just immediate downer, and just sort of gives the magazine back. Like, hey, y'all can handle the humanoid relations for a sec, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go be sad in the other side of the room because those are my comrades.
Oh. So, like, kind of seems
I didn't
that
kill
that's-
them. Bumblebee, the movie, killed them.
Bumblebee the movie.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, damn, I found a magazine. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
for
cool,
sure.
my squad is dead. The Decepticon triple changers are all dead.
And it was like, oh, cool, they're here. Oh, they're also dead.
Oh.
Okay,
Okay.
What does Potshot and Jumpkick want to
Yeah, Hightop just
So-
sort of goes.
Seeing that
sulks off?
Hightop is walking away and there's still this human with some energon here, Potshot's gonna muster up her bravery as best she can. Again, the only interaction she's had with humans is they're scary and might hurt her and are weird and creepy, and just kind of scuttles back over along the wall very quickly now that she doesn't have a rock underneath her. They just kind of like get near the door, not really say anything, but just see like, you know, kind of like, and then just kind of like glances a Jumpkick like, I'm not gonna, you handle him. Like,
All right, so after everyone has already clearly noticed that this kid has energon, I go,
yeah.
hey guys, look, this kid's got some energon.
Yeah, I know. If he tries to
He
run,
says, "Is that what this is called?"
And then it goes like, okay, where'd you find it, little dude?
I found it outside the mine. There wasn't much of it. It was there was some really tiny pieces that I guess got blown away in the wind over time. I can only find this one big chunk though, and I think he if he doesn't have it out of his bag already, he does. So he's taking it out and like showing it to you. He's like, I can't find any deposits bigger than this. I wanted to show it to my dad, but I think if he's gonna want to take it and look at it, and I don't want him to take the only one I have, so I've been looking for more.
Potshot doesn't know what a dad is, but probably immediately assumes that it's like a commander.
It's not.
Just immediately assumes that all the humans in the area are like part of the military.
Dad is a military rank.
Dad holds the same thing as a prime, or is it just a? That way, Optimus is the
In
dad.
the context, that's what you get.
Optimus dad.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to ask him about the energon deposit he found?
He said he found some, and he's still looking for more, right?
Yeah, he found some in what you know of to be where the battle outside took place, like that leftover war zone.
Do you think you could show me where?
He's first give me a an education check. Make it 3 purple, and I don't think I can give you any bonuses for it. So just education.
Just 3 purple.
3 purple, 2 greens
Whatever
is
I have,
for you,
yeah.
but it's just
What? 2 threats.
Mm.
I think my dice are loaded.
Okay, so
Loaded to the wrong end.
on this online dice roller. 2 threats. You know there's something weird with his energon. It's not normal energon. Normally energon is a uniform color all the way through. This one is like mixed in with earth rock. You don't know why that is. That's weird. That's doesn't happen on Cybertron. Energon, when it forms as energon. It can be mixed in with stuff like debris and things to make it unpure, but having this weird like cohesion or coercion with like another material in this way is like weird. That doesn't happen on Cybertron.
Okay.
He tells you he found it outside though. He can show you where it is if you wanted him to.
Oh, he's just gonna show us. Cool. Then.
Yeah, he's looking for more stuff too. So he's like, yeah, I'll show you if you can help me find more.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Team up. Hey guys, we're teaming up with this kid. We're gonna find some energon.
So, like, I'm imagining Potshot is still just kind of squished against the wall near the door, not quite sure what to do, but upon hearing that they're going to be following a human around, just kind of, like, looks down at him and then looks back at Jumpkick, kind of just thinking to herself, like, what did you do? Like, kind of just looks around to see where Hightop is. I don't know if Hightop's still in the room or if she's gone somewhere to...
Yeah, I think it's a little bit... My character has been introduced for an hour and 13 minutes, and I don't feel like it's an appropriately amount of character development to have a big sad moment. So, I don't know. I think she's a bit bummed, but it's also been, like, probably hundreds of years since we left Cybertron, so, you know, sort of...
Yeah, it's been a while.
A bit dejectedly follow them out. Just, you know, she sort of left to help these people find a better way, and now a bunch of the ones she knows are dead, so...
Is Hightop or Potshot gonna take a closer look at the Energon at all, or is they just taking it as its Energon?
Yeah, when I
Potshot
come
probably
over...
is...
Sorry.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I guess when I come over, I'll be like, "Yeah, sorry about that. I'm fine. Let me take a look at that," and I'm just gonna take it from him.
Okay, so I think the same check, and then I think he just hands it to you as they're walking out. Same check, 3 purple education check. Your background is a doctor or a scientist,
It's
right?
a pilot and a doctor, a field medic.
I think you can get 1 extra blue. I think this could relate to your career to give you a little bit of a bonus. So 3 purple, 1 blue, and then whatever your education is.
Okay, that's 2 successes and a disadvantage.
2 successes and a disadvantage. Okay. I'll tell you what it is, and then you, same as before, you can say what other information from your success you'd like. You know what it is? This is referred to as Energon Amber. It's the equivalent of like a fossil, but it only forms if a Cybertronian dies off of Cybertron on a mineral-rich world. So these wouldn't be formed on advanced Cybertronian colonies, only newer or just uncolonized worlds altogether. Your disadvantage is that if you had the right equipment, you could scan this piece of Energon and see who it came from. It happens when a Cybertronian gets injured or dies, but you don't have that equipment, so you couldn't tell who this came from exactly.
Does that make it
Okay,
a scab or something? Cybertronian scab?
Pretty much. So
It
yeah, Hightop...
comes in contact with the rock
kind
and
of.
just kind of molds with it.
Yeah, and it has the equivalent of like DNA inside of it, but you need like something to decode it because it's been corrupted kind of by like the earth minerals.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I think Hightop just sort of... I pick it up and sort of shake it around to see if there's any liquid in it. I break off a little piece and I eat it and oh,
Potshot's just following behind and like very quietly, like just like makes a little motion of "I wish I had that," like
yeah.
kind of like a kid in high school when you open up a pack of gum and like you're just kind of silently hoping that they're gonna share. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, it's still Energon. You can eat it. You can pick around the earth bits.
yeah. So after I take a bite, chew on it a little bit,
Chew
spit it
on
out
it.
on the ground. Oh yeah, this is Energon Amber. Somebody, well, I mean, I'm guessing with that explosion, somebody died here. Judging by the amount, probably somebody big.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot. You know the when these form, they kind of form clumped together, which is why he can't find more of it. And with this amount, a rather big bot, because it's not quite basketball size, but like he has to use 2 hands to
Yeah.
hold it.
Well, while I appreciate this is your discovery, small human, we kind of need this to survive, so I think I'm gonna hold on to it. This is sort of like when y'all eat dirt. This is what we need to eat. That's not dirt.
Y'all are still walking to the site where you found it. He looks at you like confused, but like he saw you eat a part of it and then spit it out. He understands part of that sentence, but is confused by other parts of that sentence.
Okay, I think
it's like when you put something through Google Translate 3 times. Like you get the spirit, but
yeah.
Yeah. He gets the spirit of it, but it's like, what?
Yeah, so I just I hold on to it for the time being. I don't know. I probably just open one of
For sure.
the little doors on my backpack and just sort of toss it in there and close it.
makes like a little clinking noise.
Yeah, you hear it hit a lot of garbage.
It's like ting 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 tong tong tong.
It's like someone slammed a messy closet.
Yeah. It's like the sound of somebody throwing a bowling ball into a dumpster.
So he takes you to the spot where he found it. It's kind of aged since it's happened because he found this a while ago. But you can probably tell from his perspective, it'd be difficult to tell and also his lack of information. But by the way like the rocks are distributed, it looks like a larger bot like died here. He clearly can't get that because he's a lot shorter, and so he can't really make out what is a vaguely humanoid shape. And he's also not a soldier, so he can't tell that kind of information. But he points where he finds it, and you're like, yeah, clearly someone died here. Someone big, not like massive, but bigger than y'all.
Yeah, someone big died here. Not massive, but bigger than us. I think, do y'all want to maybe keep an eye on the perimeter. I'm gonna search for something. Being a field medic and knowing sort of where all of our vital fluids would be, I think I'm gonna try to find the place where, if we were to bleed out from our vital areas, where it would have leaked into the ground, and maybe start scooping that out and see if I can find any more. Like where I guess their spark casing would be.
Yeah, you can find trace amounts, not a whole lot, because the way it kind of is attracted to itself to form the geode. There's
the one big chunk.
You can trace. Yeah, you can trace out the outline of what would be the body, and in the center of the chest, there is definitely a faint purple glowy dust on things. But the major deposit would be the deposit you have. I also think from the magazine, while you're looking through this, the magazine you looked at, you start to connect some dots, and a lot of these details look like the spot where Blitzwing died.
Huh. So yeah, I take the magazine back, I look at the picture, I sort of look around, I pull the basketball of scab out of my backpack and be like, oh y'all, this is Blitzwing juice. Just so you know.
So what I find funny about this is the second that Hightop says someone secure the perimeter, Potshot's immediately on the mission, pacing back and forth, probably pulls out one of her rifles and just has it in hand. It's scanning the sky. And then just out of the corner of her hearing is she's staring off into the distance, so used to seeing military humans walking around and everything. She just hears, this is Blitzwing juice in the background.
Does Potshot and Jumpkick know who Blitzwing is?
No idea, but just the phrase is such a non sequitur.
No
she turns around.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Jumpkick doesn't.
Yeah, no, he's somebody I knew back in the Decepticon Air Corps. He was always a bit envious of what's the Decepticon Air Command called?
Seekers?
Yeah.
Seekers?
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I knew him back in my day from the Decepticon Space Command. He was one of the Seekers that was always sort of a bit of an envious dick of the Triple Changers. So, I mean, not a huge loss, but apparently he found his way here. It does give me a bit of apprehension that they might have followed me, considering the whole defecting situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, not a huge loss. But if y'all are comfortable with eating remains, I mean, this is decent energon, I guess.
Good stuff.
It's good shit.
As much as I love being inebriated and eating parasites, I mean...
Hightop, you would also know that Blitzwing is not an easy guy to take down. And the fact that apparently humans took down Blitzwing is that's something. That you've ran into humans, probably the stray law enforcement officer that gets freaked out by something that moved. You've been shot at before, and that's never hurt you. But the fact that they could kill Blitzwing, or something killed Blitzwing here, that's an issue.
Yeah, he never was the most competent, but it's a bit surprising they were able to actually take him down. I mean, I don't know, waist height to him, and most of the time I get shot, it's just an annoyance. Maybe we should not be here. I don't know. I know we had to knock down that fence to get in here that had those military emblems on it, but if they have things big enough to kill Blitzwing, it's probably not a good place to hang out.
Potshot's just silently nodding in the background.
How did they not find you? Did they just never go in this cave?
I think Potshot's just gonna kind of shrug in the background and just like in her head is just gonna be like, "Thank Primus they never did."
Can we see anything else in the area? Like, can we do a check to see if there's something that we missed or?
Yeah, I was about to ask. Everyone, give me a 3 purple perception check. Yeah, 3 purple perception check. Potshot, if you were already kind of keeping watch, you can add a blue to it.
Does knowledge in anything help in this?
This would have to be perception. From what would be around, it would be perception.
I got 2 advantages.
2 advantages? Any failures or anything, or just 2 advantages?
Just 2 advantages.
I got a success and 2 disadvantages.
A success and 2 disadvantages.
I got 2 threats.
Okay, I'll start with the best result. Potshot, you see in the outer perimeter, about a little smaller than your own alt mode, an insect-shaped Cybertronian kind of skulking around in the forest. And with 2 advantages, you can tell that it is in fact watching you. Do you want to know anything else about it?
Does it have a faction symbol?
Faction symbol with 2 advantages? I would say, yeah, it has a faction symbol. It has a Decepticon faction symbol on it.
So she's probably just gonna train her sights on it, and probably that's how she sees the faction symbol to begin with. And she just kind of like barely turns her head and says, let me see, what would be something like her switching over to military mode? Probably be something like con 26 clicks, something like that. Just like immediately slips into Decepticon nearby and a distance.
I mean, Decepticon doesn't necessarily mean hostile, but, we'll work on that.
And then I think
she just kind of like, she hears that and just kind of like internalizes, just like probably doesn't roll her eyes or anything, but just kind of goes like, like she's getting there eventually.
Hightop had the next best. What did you have, Hightop?
A success and 2 threats.
A success and 2 threats. Okay, your threats are... I think you are familiar with this type of Cybertronian, and you know it's a drone, and you know where there's one, there's many, and there's scouts. And so you know that they travel in packs, they're scouts, and they are lightly armored. And what do you want your success to be?
I think with my success, I would like to maybe, if it is a Decepticon drone, maybe have a little bit more knowledge of maybe like their limitations. Like, are they fast? Can they fly? Like, is this a stay and fight or outrun them and get away situation?
Yeah. You know that they have 2 modes. They don't have like a full bot mode. This insect mode you're seeing is their bot mode. Their alt mode is like small tank-like things. So you know that it is currently in like scout mode and not in fight mode.
Okay. Would I assume this is...
and it would be really clear when it's in fight mode. It turns into a tank.
Would I assume this is hostile, or is it just looking at us?
I can tell you someone who's already assumed it's hostile.
I think you know that it could go south. It's kind of like looking at because it's also watching you. I don't think it's realized it's been spotted, but it kind of like, for an Earth metaphor, it'd be like jaguar or wolf like eyeing up possible prey.
Okay, I think
so. A more animalistic like drone.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get ready to broadcast something on my comm link. But if we're still going through successes and failures, I won't say that until Carlos does this thing, because all our stuff happens at the same time.
Yeah.
So I just get my comm link ready.
So this all happening like at once. All right, and then Carlos, what was yours? I know it was the worst.
Yeah, just 2 threats.
2 threats?
Yep.
I think the 2 threats are you don't see them. Like you're talking to the kid.
Talking to the kid.
And I think y'all were in conversation. You weren't really looking around. And he's introduced himself as Spike. And he's like, so what are y'all's names? Mine's Spike. That's not really my name, but it's what, everyone at school calls me. And he kind of like is acting really cool. What's your guys' names?
As he's saying that, I'm just pulling out a walkie-talkie looking thing and then pulling out a gun that's not my colors and much bigger than I am out of my backpack. Which y'all may recognize as a Seeker's Null Ray that I stole.
Potshot's just gonna like looking over and just like sees that and does like a double take. Like just very quietly goes, I didn't know you had that.
I'm just gonna keep talking to Spike, and I'm just gonna I'm Jumpkick. That over there is Potshot and Hightop, and we're just hanging out. We just ran into Potshot after a long time of being separated, and I just keep going on, telling him our life story.
Gives the kid the full backstory.
Yeah, way too much information. Can't even process it because it's a small child.
Spike's just trying to convince you that he's really cool, and then as you're talking, you're like, no one calls this kid Spike.
Poor Spike, and meets a bunch of alien robots and immediately just gets quietly roasted.
They immediately assume he's a loser.
He's trying to do that thing. Yeah, he's trying to give himself a nickname. He's a freaking loser.
We're like talking about being in.
What do the two
talking about being in space and burning up in re-entry, and he's like, "Yeah, I've been there. It's cool."
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think while that's going on, I'm going to just get my comm link and just try to broadcast on basically all frequencies and be like, "We see you. Are you friendly? We mean you no harm. This is the Hightop of Decepticon Space Command, I guess, if that's relevant. I don't know. It's been a while since I made a call."
Are you on like a Decepticon wavelength, or how do you think your comms work? Is there like an open wavelength, or are you trying to communicate to like other Decepticons in the
I feel
area?
like it's probably her old Decepticon comm link, but I don't know. She probably just has multiple frequencies, and she's just sending that message out on like all of them, like clicking to one saying that, clicking to another saying that, or it's some variation of it.
Okay, I think you get a response. It says, in my best Insecticon voice, Inspecticon replying, surrender the Energon sample or the Hive will invade.
I don't respond. I put my hand over the microphone, be like, "Hey y'all, apparently there's an Insecticon hive, and they want this Energon wad. Do we want to fight a whole hive over this?
Energon what?
Do we want to fight a whole hive over this? Do we want to run, or do we just want to give it up?" Because
Potshot's just sitting there kind of calculating. Like that meme where it's like got the person who's looking into the distance and all the calculations are floating around them. It's like Potshot trying to figure out how many bullets she has and if this could actually work or not. She's been itching for a fight for a little bit.
Yeah. While she's...
the Insecticon, I think, replies again, and it's...
Insecticon demands response. Commanding Officer, Shockwave.
Oh no!